Hello and welcome to Ghosts and Entities, brought to you by Vibration Shift. And we have got a fantastic course for you. This is going to be awesome. You're going to be learning about the Etheric Restore Warp Gate, which is a culmination of, I had a 42-page manual with me and my mentor about 10 years ago, where it's a ghost busting course, and it's got 42 different pages of all the different types of entities and ghosts, and you go through and like say, okay, is it one of these? And if you get the good read, then you go through the whole sequence and steps to clear that. But 47 pages, right? So it's pretty intense, very thorough. And you're gonna get that in a warp gate to where you'll be able to clear a room in a matter of moments of just doing the warp gate, and your unconscious mind will go through, highlight which of those ghosts or entities it is, and clear them and help them move on. You'll get a basic understanding of just ghosts and entities and what are they and how you can play a critical role in their evolution and get favored by angels. So how cool is that? Also, it'll be a fantastic consciousness building tool where you really open yourself up to increasing your abilities and increasing your ability to like read a room, to get a sense of a place, and then actively make change. I like to say that thing of like, what's the point of like, if you could actively feel or know there's a red light or a go light, but then you had no ability to control your vehicle. So you might be able to see that as a red light you're about to go through, and you could brace yourself for the crash. But wouldn't you like to be able to have the brakes and the gas to where, oh, it's a green light, I can go. Oh, it's a red light, I can stop. So it's kind of like, this is what it gives you, to where you can tune up your ability to sense these type of beings, so to speak, or fragments of beings, and then clear them, while also tuning yourself up of getting that read of monitoring of, adjusting to the non-physical. So that's what we got for you. First, we're going to start, we'll install the warp gate, and then we'll play with it on ourselves in our aura. Then the next day we'll jump into like clearing your house, getting that, getting your house clear, get that environment set. Because I like to say, like, when you're dealing with like the non-physical and energy work, and you can liken it to swimming, right? So you're swimming, right? But if you're underwater, you're desperate for air, all you're doing is trying to get to the surface. So if you're always underwater by all the different types of energies that could be coming at you, it makes it really hard to learn how to swim properly, or the various types of swim strokes, because you just want to get the oxygen just to breathe. So this is one of the things where entities aren't critical to your, evolution, and they don't get your deep internal issues, but they can be like always pulling you under the water to where you're just gasping for air. You're trying to work on something deep, but you're actually working on an entity, and you're never going to clear that without the proper clearing of clearing the entity, not clearing something in you. So this is going to be fantastic, because you'll be able to do all these, like, it's super powerful. And I'll just tell you a little quick story, and it's kind of what got me into the clearing part of energy work, where you do clearings and clear stuff, energy work, forming stuff. Because I did a lot of personal development, which had various spiritual components to it, but the specific having a clearing and making a change in the non-physical came about because of an experience that I had with having a ghost taken off of me. And at the time, I didn't know about ghosts, didn't know about entities, and I was having a situation where I was like, kind of almost going into this narcoleptic sleep in the middle of the day. Right? And I wasn't sure why. And I had gone through all like the personal development. I went through like the, metabolism and what food I was eating at lunch. And, it was a low, metabolism point, and was I well rested and all this stuff. But still, it was almost like this switch would kick off, and it was like it's a narcoleptic feeling. It wasn't necessarily always the same time, but it was like in the afternoon time where I was most susceptible for it to happen. So flash forward, I go to a metaphysics fair. I'd never been to one before, but I was like, hey, cool. This is like, I'm super into personal development, and this is like another aspect of it. And, I've been in some of the mystic arts, but never a metaphysics fair, and like with psychics and auras and chakras and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I'm not sure about that. But I was open to it. So I go to the fair, right? And I was like, I want to try this. Like, I want to get it. I want to do something, right? But everybody kind of had me a little intimidated, like with their booths and all the stuff and the crystals and the things. And I'm just like, ooh, I don't know. So I found a non-scary guy that had basically just a basic table with a sign that says, I'll do clearings and, work on you, do some energy work. And he also became my mentor, and we built the ghost busting course together. Fantastic guy, Bart Sharp. Check him out. He is wonderful. But that's how I met him. So and he just had this, I'm going to do these clearings. It was access consciousness at the time that he was doing. And so I sat down, and I was like, okay. He's like, okay, what do you want to work on? I was kind of thinking like, well, like anything? He's like, yeah, we'll work on anything, whatever you want. It's like, well, I have this weird thing while I'm falling asleep in the middle of the day. I'm thinking like, what's he gonna do with that, right? And he's like sensing into me. He's like, oh, let's see what's going on. Oh, yeah, you've got entities on you. Yep, you've got stacked entities that go back 8 lifetimes. There's 8. Okay, let's clear that. And I'm all like, what? I'm like, okay, right? So he goes through the process, and he's like, okay, this is what they're doing. They're trying to take you out of this universe and reality. That's why you're falling asleep. It was cursed onto you 8 lifetimes ago. Here's the stacking order. And he went through all of them like, okay, take this off, this off, this off. Then, explained the whole process while he was doing it. And afterwards I was like, okay, could be great, whatever. I was like, that was interesting, guy seemed sincere. But then 3 days later, like my girlfriend and I noticed like, wait a second, you haven't been falling asleep. That stuff, and then we're like, wait, do you think it was that clearing stuff? Like, wait, do you think that actually works? I was like, yeah. And then wasn't having these issues, wasn't falling asleep. I hadn't changed anything else because it's kind of like I didn't know what to change because it wasn't working. And I was like, holy cow. And that's when, I went to learn from him, and like, I'm like, I want to know it all because that was awesome. I had amazing change, and that was all with entities. So this is what you're going to get an experience to. And then just what I've done with that over the last, I think 15 years now, and where we took it, and just, and it's just such a new, like with the warp gate now, it's like, instead of spending all the time that I did to learning the entities, because I was so hooked, and I spent a long time and then played a long time and cleared this, and we went on Ghostbusters and we cleared houses, and there's a lot that went into it. But now you get it in a warp gate where you're just going to download it to your unconscious mind, and your unconscious mind will be able to do the clearings without you having to learn the whole process. Not to mention, it does it super hyper fast. Like, I don't do the standard clearings anymore. I do warp gates. I'm driving down the road, and I can hit up houses and be clearing along the way, and all that will get. We'll talk a little bit more, but it gains you favor with angels because you're just helping them clear up stuff. Not to mention, it really tunes you up, gives you a great boost. So it's a fantastic tool to learn. Plus, it's going to boost your consciousness. Not to mention, you really, on the end of the day, you're going to be helping out the ghosts, the entities. So it's really a service that you're doing. If you do it in the right way, there's going to be some do's and don'ts. This isn't a tool to harm the ghosts or other people. So we'll get that all sorted out. But this is going to be a fantastic, adventure we're going to have together. And hopefully we're going to jump in right away. Let's install that warp gate. But until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.